Hey guys, and welcome to Witchin and Bitchin, a podcast. I'm your host, Darren.
And I'm Vicky. How you going today? I hope you're enjoying your day, whatever you're up to.
Yes. I'm enjoying my day because I've spent the day with you.
Glad. I know. We've been doing this. That's it.
So just a little bit of behind the scenes knowledge for you guys. So even though we release episodes twice weekly, we go through these things of where we will record like a ton of episodes in like one day. Because obviously we interview people, so it's when they're available is when we'll record. But then between all that, we record like quite a few episodes. Like today, this is our third episode of the day.
Yes.
So that's why we have to really think when we're like, okay, what day is it today? Because we've recorded 3 today, but they're not all going to come out in a row. They're going to come out one here, then an interview, then another one. So it's like, Yes. Anyway, so I don't know what episode number we're up to at this point, but I know which episodes we've had at this point.
Yes.
So, today I have to control Vicky a little bit today.
You do.
So
I'm a little excited.
To use a Beltane joke, we're just going to be using, just the tip. We're not going deep on this issue. We're just the tip. Just the tip of the iceberg. What did you think I was talking about?
Deeper is better.
Not a Beltane joke, but anyway. In all seriousness, though.
All seriousness, this is like one of my favorite topics, and it's so hard to like.
So wait, before we tell them what topic it is, like, would you consider yourself a hedge witch?
Well, that term
itself
is a little bit interesting because hedge witch can not only mean the other part, it can actually mean more about traveling between the worlds.
Oh.
Yes, and riding the hedge. So maybe I probably am a little bit of a green witch.
Yeah, I'd say you are. So guys, in case you haven't guessed, we're talking about the herbs.
Yay!
Yeah, so Vicky's a little bit excited, just a little.
I'm excited.
When I say we're talking about herbs, we're not talking about these herbs.
No, not those ones.
No, not those herbs. We're talking about
those ones.
No. Okay, so
medicinal and magical and all sorts.
Yes. So now, as I said in previous episodes, we are not Wikipedia.
No, definitely not.
We're just giving you just the tip of the iceberg.
Of the iceberg, that's right.
Just the tip.
And just to give you a bit of food for thought, to go have a look at what interests you, what sparks your interest, and go take that a little bit further.
Exactly. And a special shout out, by the way, goes out to Steph Carr.
Yes.
So Steph is actually one of our listeners, and she was one who recommended this episode. She goes, I'd really love it if you guys did an episode on herbs. So here we are, recording an episode just for you, Steph, and anyone else listening.
Hi.
Yes. So guys, if you want a shout out, or if you want to have a specific topic tackled, just let us know. Send us a message or comment on one of our posts.
We're super open to all that sort of stuff. We want to.
Yeah. Because this is about y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about y'all. Okay, so in today's episode, we're going to be looking at notes and books and things because, in all honesty, like the topic of herbology is massive.
And there's so many different aspects to it. There's so many different ways and means and all the rest of it, but it's a lot to keep in your brain.
And also in different cultures, different herbs had different like properties and different practices and all of that. And so as good eclectic witches, we try to draw on all cultures, and we don't, just because one did it this way, but another one did it that way. Like, you don't have to go, I'm only going to do it how the Greco-Romans did it.
Yeah, that's right. And because you could also realize that sort of back then, when a lot of those practices were created and things like that, it wasn't easy to travel or anything like that. So they could only use what was local, what grew local, and not all herbs or plants grow everywhere. As we know, there's different ones. So it would be really specific for that area. So.
Yeah. So I know myself, I've got a couple of little staple books that I like to reference when I'm doing any form of herb work. So first off the bat, we have the Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magickal Herbs. So this one's by Scott Cunningham. I've got the expanded and revised edition. Yes, well, I don't know.
I do too. Yeah. I actually don't know if there is. I don't know if there is.
Is there a standard one?
I don't know.
The other one that I quite like is this one. It's the Complete Book of Incense, Oils, and Brews, also by Scott Cunningham.
It's a really good one.
And then lastly, by Scott Cunningham, I have Magickal Aromatherapy, The Power of Scent.
Ooh.
So why are we talking aromatherapy? Well, because they come from herbs.
Yeah, that's it. They all come from, they're derivative from plants. So another good one, some other good one to grab as well is a compendium of herbal magic
Mm-hmm.
by Paul Beryl. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
We might put a list underneath this anyway of some of the helpful books.
Yep.
And also, if you're interested in the bit more witchcrafty and some of the poisons and things like that, a book called Witchcraft Medicine is really good as well. That's by Claudia Muller Ebling and Christian Rauch and Wolf Dieter Stroll. I don't really know how to pronounce the last name very well, but like I said, we can pop a thing up of
some of the
handy books.
Obviously, as I said, as we know, this topic goes on forever and ever and ever. So it means that we're only going to be giving you the ones that we've personally worked with, but I'm sure there's plenty other books out there. So feel free, after we've left our comment, if you know some others that you want to recommend to people, stick it in a comment and then maybe post a picture of the front cover and let us know, or let everyone else know what books you use. So I guess let's start off, because this topic it's not going to be an easy one to digest chronologically, because there is no chronological. It's just kind of going all over the place, but
it just kind of goes.
We tried to compartmentalize it as much as possible. So we're going to start off with easy first.
Yes.
Easy. So kitchen herbs, the ones that are easily available within your own house that you didn't even know you had.
Yes. So I think this is maybe you did know you had, but you didn't really think of them in a magical kind of way, or even a medicinal kind of way. So there's lots and lots of herbs. It's a really undervalued, I guess, part. We often overlook. We always look for the really fancy kind of rare, witchy sounding herbs and all of that sort of stuff. But there's actually a really huge treasure trove, probably in your herbs and spice cupboards or a herb and spice section at your supermarket. That you can make use of.
I was gonna say, on that note, I actually know there's an author by the name of Temperance. Is it Adler? Oh God, now I've gone blank on her name. Oh my God, I'm such a terrible person. Oh, horrible. No, that doesn't show me either. I just know her as Temperance. I can't remember her last name.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, Temperance, if you're listening. Don't hate me.
Sorry.
Anyway, so she actually practices what she calls McCormick's witchcraft. Because McCormick's is a herb brand, kitchen spice brand.
Yeah.
Because she's all about being able to do witchcraft on a dime, meaning you don't have to break the bank and pay top dollar at a little, your closest witchy store to get your herbs. You can literally just get them from the supermarket. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. There's so many that you can get there that have so many different purposes and that you can substitute for other ones and things like that as well. So there's a lot. That's what we've kind of compiled, a bit of a list of easy, readily available kind of herbs.
So why don't you kick us off, Ben?
All right. So one little one that I love is basil.
Basil.
So this one's really great. Like I said, you can get that at the supermarket. A lot of times you can even get it fresh in the fruit and veg section as well. So it has lots of little amazing properties. So as a bit of a brief kind of overview, it's often associated with love, exorcisms, wealth, abundance, protection, and then there's also a little bit of a fun fact about flying as well.
Oh, what is that? I've never heard that one.
Yeah, so this is a little interesting one that I had. I'm not sure where it comes from, so we have to look it up, but it was once said that witches, upon drinking half a cup of basil juice, which let me just say that would be quite disgusting.
Sounds like ew.
Don't get me wrong, I love basil, but a whole half a cup, you would then fly.
If anyone wants to try that, let us know in the comments how you went.
How you went with it all.
With half a cup of basil juice.
Which I think would be really kind of gross.
So one of the things that I love about basil is that they say that it can it soothes the tempers of between lovers.
Yes.
So the next time you're having a quarrel with your other half, just make a good pesto Alfredo pasta. So you're literally giving them pasta. Everyone's happy when they've had pasta.
I was going to say a good carby, good
and throwing some basil, some freshly made pesto in there. By the time they've eaten, they're going to be like, "Oh, that was delish," and then they're going to be like, "What were we even arguing about?
What were we arguing about?
And do you know what? I only just found out the other day that my husband is actually a fan of, because we made a dish that had it was pesto mixed with Greek yogurt. And when you mix it together, we drizzled that on our food. I think we had falafels or something. I think it's spinach falafels with that stuff on it. And now I'm getting hungry.
I know. I'm why are we talking about all this cooking stuff?
But he was like full drinking it out of the cup at the end. And I'm like, oh, now that I know he likes basil, next time we're going to argue, I'm just going to make some pesto.
Basil. Yeah.
Hold that thought. I'm going to go make some basil here. What are we arguing about?
I don't know what it was. But that's it. Like, you can use it in your cooking as well. It doesn't have to be specific spell work, and we're going to go through lots of different ways that you can use herbs. But cooking is a really great one, and set your intention as you're adding these things. I know, like with basil, like you adding it to your pasta sauce or all of that sort of stuff, and add those kind of intentions with it. So it's also a really great one for attracting prosperity. So one little tidbit is to carry a leaf of it in your purse or your wallet to attract wealth. It's also great for attracting good luck, wealth, like I said. It's been used since ancient times, actually, in exorcism and purification rites as well, which is quite interesting. I'm sorry, there's a fly buzzing around my head. What was another one? Abundance, prosperity. It's also really good for helping to clear the mind and clear the mental clutter. And even just if you've got some actually growing, because that's another thing, it's actually a really easy one to grow too, is just to kind of smell it, have that scent. So you can grab a leaf or something and sniff it. And it's also really said to help chase away the blues.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a really great one for sort of, I use that. I guess this one I probably use more for the love, abundance, prosperity kind of aspects to it.
So my favorite one that everyone's going to have in their house, I can guarantee if you don't have this in your house, then I don't know, maybe I need to give you some health coaching. But so now it's actually technically classed as a poison.
Ooh.
And you're not going to suspect what it is. What do you think is a commonly found item in someone's kitchen that is classed as a poison technically, although you would not assume it was? It's otherwise known as the fruit of the gods.
Apple?
Yes, it is.
Seeds.
Yeah, the seeds. Because I'm pretty sure that the seeds is what they use to make. Is it cyanide?
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, cyanide comes from the seeds. Obviously,
ground them up.
Obviously, large amounts, like to create that kind of poison effect.
We're not condoning that.
No, not at all. No making cyanide, people. So it's been known as the fruit of the gods, the fruit of the underworld, the silver branch, the silver bow. That's how you pronounce it. But anyway, and then the tree of love. So obviously a lot of love, healing, garden magic, immortality, all that kind of stuff. But even just on a very simple note, like, and I learned this from Charmed, and then I fact checked it. It's actually true. It's actually true.
We'll see. There we go.
When you cut it, not vertically, you have to cut it horizontally. It has a pentagram within it. So the seeds always grow in 5 different directions. So it's an inbuilt pentagram. So hence can be used as a protective thing.
Yep. All on its own. Just cut it in half and have it there. Let it dry out.
And a lot of people actually put apples on their altars and stuff, especially around Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah. So
love that.
Well, mainly Wiccans, I think. Is it Wiccans that? It's mainly Wiccans that do it, isn't it? Or witches in general?
I think it could be witches in general. I think it's because of that aspect with the seeds being seeds of death. So you're kind of having the life and death aspect to it. So it may be in other practices as well. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it is definitely in some Wiccan practices.
Okay. Well, you're up next. What's your next one?
What's my next one? May I just also say that this was kind of like picking your favorite child, having to like narrow.
Oh, I already know which one my favorite child will be. And they're not even born yet. I already know.
I already know.
Because I've meditated. I felt their energy in a meditation. I know who's coming.
You know who it is.
I already know which one's going to be my favorite, and I know which one's going to give me a hard time.
I love it.
Yeah. So Charlie, when you're eventually in this world, you are going to be a handful. I know you're going to be a handful. You are absolutely your other father's daughter.
I love it.
Okay. Anyway, I digress. Go on.
Right. So next one is bay leaves. They're a staple. They're a really easy one to get hold of. So they have a lot of to do with protection, purification, strength, healing, psychic powers, prophecy, divination, wisdom, luck, and success. So that's kind of the really general properties of it. One little practice that people can do is to write something actually on the bay leaf and then burn it. So you can either do it as a wish or something that you want to be rid of.
Mm-hmm.
I usually do it as something you want to be rid of, like to release. It's also used, you can burn it to enhance psychic powers, visions, prophetic dreams. It's also a really good one for adding to amulets for protection from negativity. Lots of those kind of things. So it's actually a really good one to have in, whether it's a cooking one or not. It's actually,
especially if you like to make a lot of curry.
Yes, that's it.
It's true though. Like,
and you know what? Here's one little tidbit for you, a visual fun fact. If you're adding bay leaves to your food and you want to add some particular kind of intention or magic to the food, you can get food markers and you can write something on the basil leaf and then chuck it into whatever you're making.
What is this witchcraft?
Yes. See?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's one way you can infuse your food with whatever your
food
intention is. Yeah. You can get like the food markers or edible markers or something like that. They're called, that you can use like on cakes and things like that.
That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So you could do that.
So my next one is the avocado.
Ooh.
I love avocado.
Avocado.
Did you know, here's a fun fact for you, that the traditional name of the avocado, which comes from Aztec, is the ahuacotl, and it's actually translates as testicle tree.
That's not what I was expecting you to say. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, that's where avocado comes from, avocado in Spanish, but that actually comes from ahuacotl, which is an Aztec word, and it literally means testicle because of the shape of it. It looks like a testicle. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm never going to look at one the same again.
Funnily enough, though, what I find interesting, it looks like a testicle, but what gender do you think it's associated with?
It's usually more a feminine one, isn't it?
It's a feminine, but it's like, okay, anyway. But okay, so for this one, if you eat the fruit of an avocado, you can become infused with lust, as the ancient Aztecs did. If you grow a plant from the pit of an avocado in your home, you can bring love into it. So if you're growing an avocado from the pit, so not only are you being sustainable, growing your own produce,
regrowing,
bringing love into the house. And magical wands made of avocado wood are potent all-purpose instruments. So I know my next wand, I want an avocado wand.
An avocado wand, please.
But anyway, so I actually really, and also the carrying the pit can promote beauty, but I believe that beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't need avocado for that. No. But anyway, so another all-purpose herb that I love, and I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm from Melbourne. We are the capital of smashed avocado. Capital of Australia for smashed avocado. I don't care what any other city says. We own that title. We make going out for smashed avo on toast a sport. You choose your brunch spot based on how good or bad their smashed avocado is.
I wouldn't do very well.
Oh, really? Are you just just happy with any? Yeah. We're very particular here about our
very particular. You want particular ones?
Yeah, very particular about it. Okay, you're up next.
My next one is rosemary.
Oh, interesting one.
So that's another one that's very readily available. Like we live across the road from a park, and there's actually like about 10 rosemary bushes just growing over there. So it's always easy to get hold of. This one is a really great all-purpose kind of herb to have. Really good to have in there. So just a general kind of thing of the magical properties. It's for protection, love, lust, mental powers. It's really great for clarity, like on a sort of a non-magical kind of thing. If you're smelling, you want to remember something, or it's really good for memory. Smell your some rosemary.
Is that why they pin it to people for
Anzac? Is it Anzac Day? Yeah, no, Remembrance Day.
Remembrance Day.
Yeah,
and see, it's often used. The funny thing is, in Serbian weddings, because of my cultural background, so we pin rosemary to guess when they arrive to the wedding. But then see, in Hungarian culture, the other part of my heritage, or another part of my heritage, we, like when I used to work at a charcoal chicken shop when I was a kid, if the Hungarians came in, they would always place an order, but they would ask for the stuffing to not have rosemary because we associate it with death.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like for Hungarians, it's associated with death. Because I think you pin it to people for funerals as opposed to weddings. Yeah, so it's like the whole thing of like, and so they don't want to eat it because it reminds them of death. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't
Random
know
fun
that.
fact. There's some.
I love that.
Yeah, Dazzle's fun fact about
Dazzle's
rosemary.
fun fact. I
Anyway,
love it.
Continue.
I'll continue. Exorcism, purification, healing, to help with sleep, longevity, banishing, grounding, cleansing, divination, wisdom, psychic abilities. So yeah, it's a really great all-purpose one. So it's really good for cleansing and purifying and protection kind of stuff. That's always where it's really good for. So healing poppets as well. Healing poppets stuffed with rosemary. Poppet. How you doing, Poppet? Healing poppets are stuffed with rosemary for its curative properties. You can also have it near doors or grow it near doors or hang it near your doors or entrances for protection. It can be burnt as an offering to the gods or goddesses. And as you might also know that I know in a lot of, I'm not sure which Christian faith it is, that you do like asperging, where you dip, it's usually a rosemary twig and you dip it in the holy water or water and then you kind of flick it around as like a often it's actually a rosemary that's been used.
I only know I only know of Palm Sunday they use a palm leaf, but I don't know.
Yeah, so some of them will do put rosemary. So you can make a really simple infusion or water of rosemary and then use that to cleanse your hands or cleanse anything before having a bath or doing any ritual work. It's really great for purification, sachets, things like that. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, it's really great for memory and study and anything like that you want to looking for some knowledge. So it's a really good one to have just in your staple, I guess.
I like it.
Okay, yeah.
So my next one is the banana.
Oh, banana.
So because this is the thing, like I wanted to pick ones that I eat and I like and I use, but like that you wouldn't assume you could use for magical purposes. Anyway,
that's right.
So the banana, otherwise known as the Maya in Hawaiian, is actually it's associated with the deity of Kanaloa. So it's a Hawaiian deity.
Yeah.
It's to be with like fertility, potency, and prosperity. And so in sacrifices to the gods, a banana stalk was sometimes used as a substitute for a human. And that's both in Hawaii and Tahiti.
Wow.
Until the kapu, and that kapu is it's like without going too deep on the issue, kapu is like the taboo kind of laws and rules that the traditional Hawaiians have to follow. Yeah. So like the whole thing of like not being able to dig anywhere, they have to get the people to come in and allow the digging to take place in case they accidentally stumble across bones or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so until the kapu was broken in 1819, certain kinds of bananas were among foods forbidden to women on pain of death.
What?
Women were not allowed to have bananas. Yeah.
Wow.
And then it's also used in contemporary voodoo rites, in which it represents the gods, since both they and the banana's flowers are hermaphroditic. There's some random fact for you.
I'm loving this.
Magical uses. The banana is used to increase fertility, but also to cure impotency. And it's perhaps because of these magical powers, if a bride is married under a banana tree, she cannot help being lucky.
Oh.
And then the leaves or flowers of the fruit of the banana are used in money and prosperity spells due to the tree's fruitfulness. And curiously enough, an old belief tells us that a banana should never be cut, only broken.
Oh, really?
So all of you people who are making your fruit platters, stop cutting your bananas.
Stop cutting it.
Break them with your hands.
You need to just break them up.
Yeah, although that would get a bit messy.
It would, because it's a bit mushy.
Yeah. But anyway, that's
okay.
Yeah, that's
fine.
All good.
We can all work around that.
Yeah. So what about you? What's your next one?
I love it. My next one I'm going to do is thyme. I've got lots of time.
Are you going to do parsley sage as well?
Yes, I am. Not sage. I was going to do parsley.
For those that don't know, there's a song Scarborough Fair. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. That's what every time you say rosemary and then thyme,
No,
I'm like,
it goes there.
my brain
I'm
just
gonna
goes to
do it all.
Slabrafair.
Go straight there.
Yeah.
But see, these are a lot of herbs that I use when I'm cooking and stuff like that. So these are ones
This
that
would be a
kind of
good
came to me.
point. This would be a good spot to like cut our thing and then go to a song and then come back.
Yeah, we can put that one in there.
I'm joking.
That would be awesome.
Oh, wait, though.
Yeah.
Continue.
So thyme, it's in general for health, healing, sleep, psychic powers, love, purification, courage, and it's often associated with the fae.
Oh.
So yeah. So you can have it in your garden is said to bring healing and peace to your garden, and also to make it inviting to the fae. And you can use it to call up the garden divas and call upon the fae. So there you go. So you can wear it to aid in developing your psychic powers.
Mm-hmm.
Placed beneath the pillow, it promotes a restful sleep and prevents nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Repels negativity, used in a lot in healing spells. It was burnt as offerings during rituals of rites of passage, such as birth and death, like those end passages.
Mm-hmm.
Dream pillows, you can use it to increase your courage and energy. It's often in Greek history and things like that time was burnt in their temples for purification. You can also make a little humor spell with it as well. A humor spell, as in laugh.
Oh.
A little humor spell. Yeah, that is something there. There's a little tidbit I was going to put. And also, but they're just a warning, which is something I should have touched on earlier, though, is whenever you are using any kind of herbs, especially essential oils as well, because it's so concentrated, just to really be really careful, because some of them are toxic or have some contraindications, and thyme is actually one of them. The essential oil is one that shouldn't really be used by pregnant women, and it's often pregnancy is one of the ones that you need to really, if you are pregnant, to have a bit of a look before you start using a lot of them. So it's not to be that you need to be worried or scared about using them or anything. You just need to be mindful, because there are lots of things that do contraindicate.
That is actually one thing that I do want to touch on, because I am actually one of those doTERRA wellness advocate people that, buys oils and stuff. So just do your research, guys. And I know that we're touching on it very lightly, but like a lot of companies, doTERRA, one of them, will tell you that you can use certain oils topically and you can ingest them and things like that. But just do your research independently of the company. And that's not me trash talking them at all.
No.
It's just do your research, because like some people can react poorly to topical or ingesting like topical application or ingesting oils, because it may not work with your system, or there may be certain circumstances where you can't do that. So always dilute if you're going to ingest it, or put in a veggie cap or something. Anyways.
If you're going to use it, or using it on your body, but there could even be like, be aware of what allergies and things you have as well, because particular groups, because they're all in families and things like that, so you may be allergic to a particular group of herbs and stuff like that. So just always, like you said, just do your research and be mindful.
I remember one time I put oregano oil, because it said that you could apply it topically to reduce the glands. And I didn't have an allergic reaction, but because I didn't dilute it, and I put it straight on my glands, and oh my God, it was like my neck was on fire. It didn't, like, it wasn't an irritation. It was just, it's very hot. Very
and that's
hot.
what I'm saying. Like, it's not necessarily talking about anaphylaxis or anything like that. It's just you're having some kind of reaction to it. So you do.
But that said, my glands did go down within 24 hours. So.
That's it. It does work, and it is. And particular oils are quite strong as well. Like essential oils as well are it's a very, 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 very concentrated way of using that particular plant. So if you were to take it more as a tea or something, it's nowhere near as strong as what an essential oil is. So we also have to be very mindful of that. Essential oils are really, really, really concentrated.
Because they're the process they go through to extract them. And on that note, like, for example, peppermint tea, if you make peppermint tea with tea bags, like, I think 1 drop of essential oil, peppermint, is equivalent to 22 cups of tea. 22 cups of tea, guys. 1 drop is 22 cups of tea. So, like, just really be careful. Like, use them if you want to.
That's it. And like, I don't want to be like always scaring anybody from using, but it's just being really mindful and respectful when you are doing that.
And also, if you can, try to find companies that are ethical in their sourcing. For example, as I said, not plugging them, but it's just because I know them. doTERRA, I use them all the time. And I know, for example, that as a wellness advocate, we get notified if, for example, they might put a limit on how many you can buy for certain types of things that they are waiting for new ethically sourced options to become available. So because they're always about, like, when we harvest, we always plant more. So they're very big on ethical sourcing and stuff like that.
Which is awesome.
Whereas some companies out there, they literally just bleed a tree dry, or they just like take all the crops, produce the oil, and then to sell it out to the masses, they will then add fillers and chemicals and other things into it, which it's no longer. Well, it's no longer. Firstly, it's no longer the actual essential oil. It's been watered down, and other things are put in it. Secondly, it could be poisonous then.
Yeah, that's right. You don't know what's in it.
Because you don't know what the fillers are.
No, that's right. You don't know what's in it. And you may have a reaction to those fillers as well.
Yeah. So that's why I would rather spend more money to buy the good stuff. Yeah. Anyway, that was just a side note.
No, it's a good one though. It's like, and especially that ethical use of them and things like that as well. It's something to really look into before you purchase things.
Yeah. So the next one I wanted to touch on was blueberries.
Ooh, yum.
As I said, as a health coach, I'm all about eating healthy. And we all know that blueberries are known for their antioxidants and this kind of stuff. So like, I love it when I eat something already in copious amounts, and then I find out that it has magical properties, because I'm like, bonus, double whammy. So it actually says here that with the blueberry, if you place some blueberries beneath the doormat, you can keep undesirables away from your property.
Ooh.
Or from entering your home. And it also protects against evil as well. Although, if you're going to do that, change your mat or change them every once in a while, because you're squishing blueberry.
I was going to say, squish them. That'd be kind of gross.
Because you're supposed to place them under, but the intention is that people don't step on it. You know what I mean? But also, if you make blueberry pies or tarts and eat them when you're under psychic attack, this gets the protection inside of you and increases the herb's effectiveness.
Oh, I love that.
So, and maybe on a future episode, we'll talk about what is psychic attack and what that all means. It's a very real thing. Very, very real thing.
Definitely.
I've had psychic attack happen before. And so, just eat a shit ton of blueberries and you're fine.
I love it.
Like,
yum. Not only is it delicious.
Health benefits and magical benefits. Just put some blueberries into your, into oatmeal, or into your, what do you call it? Bircher muesli, or you can put it into yogurt, like whatever it is. Just eat some blueberries.
That's it. Go for
blueberries.
Eat blueberries. Look, we're creating the superfoods now.
Magical superfoods.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. What's your next one?
What's my next one? Let's go for ginger.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like a bit of ginger.
A little bit of ginger. I like ginger. So ginger, just a general, is love, money, success, power, lust, healing, protection, sex magic, courage, and victory. So it's quite. So if you kind of think about it, when you're eating ginger, it sort of heats you up. It's a warming kind of herb. So you might know where I'm going with this one now. And it gives you
sex magic,
extra power. So it gives you that extra power and boost, especially in love spells and all of those kind of spells. You can plant ginger root to attract money.
Mm-hmm.
Sprinkle powdered ginger into your pockets as well for that same kind of reason, to attract wealth. Using spells for success. The scent of it increases sexual desire.
Oh.
Yes, we're getting a bit there. So it promotes courage, confidence, and in the aid of self-survival as well. So in those flight or flight kind of things. It can actually be used, the root as well, because of the sort of the shape of it and what it looks like. You can actually substitute it for mandrake root.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So if you want to use it for that particular reason, like the actual shape of it, you could use it as well. And on that other note we were just talking about, you can also use it with hexing and cursing to sort of stop hexes and curses against you.
I like it.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, my next one is the coconut.
Coconut.
I'm sensing a theme here. You've gone for like the full herby.
I'm going the herby.
I'm like all the fruits.
Fruity stuff.
Yeah, because
that's great, because it's a beautiful balance then.
Well, I'm a big fruitcake, so you know what I mean. So for coconut, so they're often used for purification, protection, and chastity. So going from your sex magic, I'm now talking chastity.
We're going to the opposite now.
So the magical uses, coconut has long been used in chastity spells as well as in protection rituals. A coconut can be halved, drained of its fluids, filled with appropriate protective herbs and sealed shut, then buried to protect your property. Or you can hang a whole coconut in your home for protection.
Ooh.
So I myself love coconut water and all coconut husk and all that kind of stuff. Like I put a lot of coconut in things, and I also use a lot of coconut oil. And as in like both as a base for like as in fractionated coconut oil, I use as a base for my dilution of my essential oils. But then actual coconut oil I use to cook with. So purification and protection. And if you think of it this way as well, like I do coconut oil pooling. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yep.
Where you pull oil through your teeth.
In your mouth.
That thing. I don't know if you could hear that, but anyway. You did or you didn't?
I did.
So where you have to pull the oil, sucking it in and out between your teeth, and it actually purifies your gums and things like that. Well, it's said to.
Yeah, to kind of get all the bugs and stuff out, and then
So both magical as well as practical.
I love that.
Plus, it tastes delicious.
See, that's always a bonus too.
I
love it. Love it. All right, my next one is lemongrass. I do like some lemongrass.
You've gone like on the full like curries and Asian cuisine, and I'm just like smoothies.
I know. Which is funny because I love fruit, but I just, I just go for the herby herbs.
Okay. So tell us about this lemongrass.
Lovely lemongrass. Can be used for enhancing psychic powers, lust, and it's also said to repel serpents.
Oh.
So there you go. Yeah, so it can be used in lust. Yeah. It's supposedly be planted around your home and garden to help repel snakes. Which I didn't know. But you can make it into an infusion, which an infusion is just another word for like a tea. Where you soak it in water to aid in developing psychic powers. It's really extensively used also in dream work as well, which I know we had a chat about that before, one of our other episodes. You can use it for purification. I love the oil, our spritzometer with me spritzing. Well, my spritz has lemongrass.
Is that lemongrass?
It's got lemongrass oil in it.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Because I find it as an oil, it's a really uplifting, it's really great for like anxiety and things like that. It's an uplifting herb without sending you too out into the ether, I guess, for want of a better word. Yeah. So it's also good to use around, you can scatter it around an area or your table before you're doing tarot or rune readings as well. You can combine it. It's used quite extensively through Native American culture and also through the Aboriginal Australians as well, use it as well for purification and different rites there. So it's quite a big one that's been used quite a lot throughout.
And you can combine
a lot of purification.
And you can combine it with your ginger to make a lovely Asian sauce.
You can. See? Delicious. And so you can infuse all of those things into your food. Into my Asian sauce. Yeah.
I like it. So my next one is corn. Otherwise known as maize. I've gone off the fruits for a little bit, but it's still sweet.
Yeah, it's still sweet. I love corn.
So corn can be used for protection, luck, and divination. So it's obviously related to a lot of different deities across the different paradigms. And obviously there's different types of corn, yellow corn, blue corn. They all have slightly different purposes. I'm not going to go into the detail. But what I know it for is for its divination. So in actual fact, where my family comes from, being what is now Serbia, used to be Yugoslavia, there's actually a subgroup of people. So they're a minority group called the, in English, I don't know the word. I know the Serbian word is Vlah. In the Romanian word is Wallachian. I don't know what the word is in English, but it's something like that. Vlah is Vlah. So I know that they like to practice corn divination. So I don't know the specific way that they do it, but I know that in Cunningham's book, he talks about that you reach into a bin of corn, pull out an ear of corn, meaning the whole thing. And then you have to count the grains. So allow 12 grains of corn for each year, and it will tell you your age.
Oh.
An ear of corn is placed within the cradle to protect babies against negative forces. That's another use for it.
Beautiful.
You can hang a bunch of corn stalks over a mirror to bring good luck to the household. That one's a bit boring. No. But yeah,
I know. I skipped
some
over
of them.
it.
Some of them, like, I mean, there's
it's
plenty of
right.
uses for it. But
Yeah, there
basically,
is.
yeah. So
That's really cool.
with the Vlachian people, I know that.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary once, and she literally sat there and she like pulled all the corn off the husk,
Yep.
stalk, whatever you call it, the thing in the middle, the cob.
The husk.
Yeah. And so she pulled it all off that, and then she was like counting them and moving them around and stuff. So I am going to be speaking to someone who studied them. What do you call that person who does that work? Anthropologist? Is it an anthropologist?
I think it's an anthropologist.
Yeah. So he's like an anthropologist at a university, and he's been studying those that minority group for a very long time. So I'm actually going to be teeing up a chat with him so I can learn a little bit more about it because it interests me.
Yeah, that would be super interesting to find out.
Because that documentary literally spurred an interest, especially because it comes from like my cultural background.
Yeah, that's right. It has meaning for you.
Yeah, of course. So that's my corn.
Love it. My next one is, now this is probably an odd one. It's not so much an odd one. It's something that everybody's probably got in their kitchen, but probably not thought of it in a magical sense, is parsley.
Oh, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme.
Yep, I got it.
Yeah, okay, parsley.
So it's used quite extensively for purification and cleansing rites. It can also, when you eat it, promote lust and fertility. So there you go. You can pop it in water to spread out its protective energy. So again, it's another protective one. You can use it to visualize protecting your home, yourself, hung above the bed to aid in conception. So the fertility part of it as well. So again, it's got a lot to do with love, fertility, lots of uses in purification, cleansing. It's also has strong connections to the other world or the underworld. So you're using it for connections there if you're looking to with your meditations and things like that as well. And it's also being associated, maybe I'll give it away. It has much value in rituals to do with death and dying. So it doesn't need to be taken literally either. So it's something that doesn't serve you. So that kind of, I guess, the death card in tarot kind of aspect to it. So yeah, so that's good old parsley.
I think I'm okay for any more ones. I think we could move on to another topic.
Yeah,
I mean, there are others, but let's not.
Yeah, I was
we
going
could
to say,
be here all day.
I know. We're going to be here forever.
So I wanted to do a little bit of a show and tell, if I may.
Ooh, I love show and tells.
A little bit of a show and tell. So one of my favorite things to use herbs for is protection.
Yes.
And the way I specifically do it, depending on my mood and what I'm trying to do. So I know I'm kind of dabbling in a couple of our topics, but that's all right.
That's good.
So sometimes I'll actually put essential oils, drops of them into my bath water. Yes. So I love a bit good frankincense, myrrh, and sandalwood in the bath. Sometimes I put a little bit of lavender just to relax a little.
Yum.
But I love that kind of combo.
Yep.
Other times I like to actually burn the oils. So I've got a nice, cute little oil burner here. So you put the oil on the top, put a little tea light candle underneath, and the heat just gradually lets it come up. But because obviously I'm conscious of the fact that my husband is asthmatic, I try not to do too many things relating to smoke because it can set him off. So hence why I diffuse. So I'll diffuse them over doing the burning option.
Yep.
But sometimes when I'm in a well-ventilated area, I like to actually put the original gums or resins onto some charcoal. So, I mean, this is what frankincense looks like in its resin form. For those that, hang on, let me just take some out.
Yeah, so it's kind of like little pale. It's quite pale in color.
Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but nope. It's the spotlight's too bright. Oh, there we go.
So it's really quite pale.
Yeah. So it's actually the sap from a boswellia tree, I think is, So, ooh. Some dingy dongy sounds. That's okay.
I forgot to put my phone on silent.
That's okay. But yeah, so it's the sap that's actually taken out and it becomes a resin when it hardens. And then you can use that for burning. So I actually wanted to do a bit of a demonstration just because why not? No one's at home.
Why not? Yep.
So guys, what I have in my hands for those that are watching on YouTube is a charcoal disc. Now, when using these, be very careful because they're self-igniting, meaning once you apply a flame, they then go and they like light themselves up. So I have a fire retardant receptacle, otherwise known as my baby cauldron. Because obviously they do create a lot of heat. So what I tend to do is I will grab them on the edge. Yeah. And then I'll light it from the other side. And as it starts to do its thing, I drop it into my cauldron.
Another really good thing you can do is use tweezers.
Tweezers, yeah.
Yeah, if you've got tweezers or little tiny tongs.
Okay.
Those little salad tongs.
So I have now lit my... Okay, I don't know if you can hear that crackling.
You can hear a bit of popping and crackling a little bit, yeah.
Oh. Okay, it's definitely going. Whoo, that smoke. So I'll try to hold this up so you can hear it.
I love that sound.
So do I, but I'm like gassing myself.
I know, I was going to say you're probably gassing yourself out. So yeah, make sure you are doing it in a nice, well-ventilated area.
Yes, I have the windows open, but basically, because next thing you know, you'll hear my my smoke alarm will go off. But so guys, if you're going to use a charcoal disc, you need to, once it's finished doing its thing, so it's finished crackling, I can see it now, then wait a few seconds and let the kind of embers glow red, because that's when it's like achieved its heat. If you put it on too early, it's just going to sit there. It's not going to do anything. So you need it to kind of glow, which it's doing now. And then I'm going to grab this mix that I actually get from the Orthodox Church. In Serbian, we call it tamjan. I don't know what they call it in Greek. I could probably look at the front and tell you. But this is a pre-mixed myrrh and frankincense combo that the church actually use. And the reason why I get it from there is one, because I like the smell of it, and two, because it's already mixed, and three, because it's cheaper than going to a witch store.
That's right.
And then all you do is I've just literally sat them on top of the charcoal disc. And for those watching on YouTube, you can see, because I got my black t-shirt on, that it's now it's turning that solid
see the smoke
into a liquid, and then the liquid into a smoke or into a gas, which is present in smoke. So it's literally like you're going from solid earth into liquid water into smoke, air, with fire.
All heated by the fire. That's it. So it's all the elements.
So even that in itself, burning it, even that in itself is a little magical thing on its own, because you're literally using all the elements. And I'm totally like consecrating everything in this room right now.
Beautiful sacred herb, that one.
So that's I've actually got the combo of myrrh and frankincense there, but yeah. So the main ones that I use for that type of work. So I have myrrh, frankincense, dragon's blood, sage, and sandalwood. They're my favorite protection herbs. All of which I tend to use. I mean, sandalwood is a little different because there's little chips that you can put on there. Otherwise, you can get the crushed powdered form. It also works great. A lot of incense sticks, they make it into powder and then they make it into the sticks and whatnot. Or you can get it in oil form, but it's super expensive as an oil.
It is.
Super expensive. I'm going to leave this here, actually. I think it's kind of cute having this little smoke
dance. It is, just have a little bit of smoke there.
Yeah.
And another little thing for you as well, if like you said, that your husband with his asthma and things like that, so you can't always have smoke. If that's also a problem, what you can actually do as well is use your oil burner. So you want one with, and put like a little bit of a carrier oil in the top, and then actually put your herbs into that, and then having your tea light under it slowly warms it. So you're actually making like an infused oil as well. But that's another way you can use it without having to have the smoke, if the smoke is an issue for you. It's a little visual fun fact.
So what are your favorite like protection, I guess, herbs? Do you have any, or are we using the same ones?
I know we've used a lot of the same ones.
Oh, sorry.
No. That's fine. That's more than okay. Protection, only other one I'd probably add to it, I use agrimony as well. That's another one that I use. That's really good for protection. I also use juniper berries as well. There are a couple of others to add to them, but yeah, I definitely use like the dragon's blood, frankincense and myrrh to sort of cleanse and consecrate the space a little bit.
Now, for those that are listening and are thinking, what the hell is dragon's blood? So it's actually
Yes,
not
it's
the blood of a
actually
dragon.
no, it's a
It's
sap
actually,
of a tree.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's the resin.
Draco.
It's from a palm tree. So it's the, is it Draconis resin or?
Yeah, Dracona Draco or something. I think it is the full name
Yeah,
of the tree.
Daemonops Draco something
Yeah, and it's a really red. It's like really, really, really red.
Yes.
Red color.
And so dragon's blood. So this is the thing is when I actually combine, because a lot of times I'll combine them all. So dragon's blood actually amplifies. It's a protective one, but it's also an amplifier, as is like it increases potency basically, and it's also used for exorcisms and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So when I mix dragon's blood with frankincense, which is obviously the Boswellia carteri, is it? Hang on, now I'm Boswellia something. Oh god.
Where is it? Here it is. Boswellia.
Carteri?
Carteri.
Yep. Yeah. Carteri. So because that one is obviously known as being for exorcisms, protection, and chastity, and then you have myrrh, which is known as being purification, and it increases power. So when I mix the three of them together, it's like really packs a potent punch. And so I know I said that I buy this from the Orthodox Church, but there's a reason why churches took myrrh and frankincense from pagans and still use it to this day. Oh god, this room is so smoky now. It's hilarious.
I was gonna say.
Like I've literally just smoked myself out in this room. But anyway, it's all good. So fun fact as well is that frankincense was actually burned back in ancient Egypt to honor Ra. And Isis was also burnt for Ra, but also, sorry, not Isis. Myrrh was also burnt for Ra. Sorry. Myrrh was burnt for Ra, but also for Isis. So it's that whole god and goddess energy, which is why in today's society we have god energy being frankincense and goddess energy being myrrh, if you want to balance them out. So burning them together is a good way of bringing both the god and goddess in, which is why I like it in the little cute little tub that has it all pre-mixed.
And lots of times you can buy it like that pre-mixed already.
Yes.
Ready to go. So you don't have to buy the separate ones.
Yes.
I love it. So maybe what are some different kind of, because you mentioned a few of them when you were saying one of the things that you like to do. So there's lots of different ways that you can use herbs and resins in your life and magical life and whatever else. So some of them, so you mentioned was incenses, which is a really good one. Incenses in baths. That's one of the ones I use a lot is in baths and bath salts. And I make lots of herbal bath salts. And you can just put them in a little bag, just pop them in like a little calico bag or muslin or something like that. And then just tie them off and then put it in there. It just helps to stop all the herbs going all through your bath when you're trying to empty out the water later on. So that's a good one for it as well. Charm bags. You can use them in spell bags or gree bags, mojo bags, whatever pertains to your sort of tradition, depending on the tradition it comes from. Bards, magical teas. You can use them in teas.
I was just gonna say, even just like certain teas, because I'm a massive T2 advocate.
Yeah.
It's like an Australian company for those that are from overseas, but basically T2, you go in there. It's like the emporium of all things tea. Like, do you guys have it in Adelaide?
Yeah, we do.
I love it. Like, I literally, but see, I'll go to T2 to buy a tea. Like, for example, one time I went in there to buy some lemon tea because my husband had a bit of a cold, so I wanted to get some caramel lemon. I can't remember what I was buying him. I think it was lemon tea. And I wanted to put some honey in it and whatever. I went in there to buy lemon tea. I came out with 8 different teas, a new teapot and cup set, and new mugs, and new strainer. Like $400 later. Like I went for a tea. I came out with $400 of stuff. Anyway,
I know,
but it's easily done there. Easily done.
Yeah, it is a little bit like a kid in a candy.
Actually, no, I didn't spend 400 there. I spent 250 there, but then I went and got one of those expensive kettles that has like different temperature settings.
Oh, it has all the different temperatures and keeps it all. Yeah.
Because if you really like your tea, you have to know the difference between the temperatures that you boil it at. But anyway, let's not talk about tea now because I don't want tea.
There's a lot of tea.
Yep.
So you can also use them in poppets, which was something we mentioned earlier. So
Poppet.
Poppet. How you doing, Poppet? So whether that's ones that you fashioned out of a root or whether you're using it out of cotton or something where you make it like a little dolly kind of thing, you can then add different herbs inside the stuffing to have different whatever your magical use.
Now,
that
for
one.
those that don't know what a poppet is that we're talking about, it's basically a little couple of pieces of material cut out like a humanoid shape, almost like a gingerbread man shape.
Yeah,
and then you just stuff it with the herbs and other things and whatnot.
It's a form of sympathetic magic where you're using that poppet in place of somebody else.
Which is
like,
where
for healing and things.
I was going to say it's very similar to that of what you would call a voodoo doll, but obviously a poppet is a non-appropriated term. But it's a very similar concept. So people have this misconception that voodoo dolls are used to curse people.
Yeah,
but they're actually used for healing and things like that as well.
Yeah, a lot of times it's for healing and different things like that.
Yeah, so positive things.
Yeah, so you can use them. Yeah, that's right. You can use infuse different oils and make anointing oils and things like that as well, which is really lovely to add to your practice. It's another kind of trigger to add there. Herbal wines. You can add to wines, which is lovely.
Oh, make some nice glue wine. No, seriously, because glue wine actually has a lot of like, if you look up the recipe for glue wine or mulled wine, if you look at the recipe and then look in Cunningham's book and have a look at all the magical properties, guys, there's a reason why these ancient cultures, and in this case, I'm talking about the Germanic culture when they make mulled wine or glue wine, they made these not just for how they taste.
No, that's it. Like it was an all round, it was like a medicine. It was to keep away different spirits or whatever and all sorts of things. So yeah, definitely.
And same thing with sangria. Certain recipes of sangria. If you look at all of the different ingredients that are in there, there's other reasons why they make them that way. It's not just because they taste good.
That's it. You start to get this different kind of appreciation for everything that has stuff in it. So you got creams and ointments as well. So there was always the flying ointment, which was the witch's flying ointment, which is quite a well-known thing. Dream pillows, essences, baths, magical teas, spells. I think that's kind of...
No, there's a couple more, but I'll touch on them. It's fine.
You touch on those.
So one of my favorite ones, there's candles.
Oh, candles. I forgot about candles.
So I have this beautiful candle, and I'm going to do another plug. We're not sponsored, by the way. This is I love this shop. So Elfhame, elfhame.com.au. So Elfhame are a beautiful little witch store up in the Dandenong Mountains. So it's in this most picturesque, delicious place to go visit. It's great if you want to go for like some Devonshire tea. Ooh. And they all make their own like in-house jams and stuff and like a fresh cream, and they make their own batches of scones and so you can go up there for all of that kind of stuff, and then you pop into Elfhame. So this one I love. It's called Sacred Witch. So the fragrance is delicious. I wish you guys could smell through a podcast.
I know. I wish we had smell-o-vision.
So it's basically it's vegan, paraben-free, and phthalate-free, but it's a traditional aroma of frankincense and myrrh with a touch of vanilla and musk.
Oh, that'd be nice.
It's very nice. And in actual fact, for those that are watching on YouTube, you can see that in the top of the candle, they've actually so Rye, who made these, so this isn't just a candle that you buy. Rye is actually a witch, and he makes all the candles from scratch. He makes a concoction, pours it, does all this spell work while he's making it. So it's actually a magically infused candle because he's done it under, like in a circle or whatever else to create it. So it's when you're burning it, it's simple act of just putting on fire, but it's actually like a form of spell work as well.
Thing. Yeah,
it's the whole thing. And one other one that I like to do is little crafts and things. So before I show you this little craft, I'm going to touch on this particular herb. So it is good for cooking, but it's also good for other things. Let me just find it. It is cinnamon. So cinnamon, otherwise known as sweetwood or Ceylon cinnamon, is associated with the deity Aphrodite or Venus. So it's often used in spirituality, success, healing, power, psychic powers, lust, protection, and love. So they say that in ritual uses, cinnamon oil was used as part of a holy anointing oil by the ancient Hebrews. The leaves of cinnamon tree were woven into wreaths, which were used to decorate ancient Roman temples. And the Egyptians used cinnamon oil during the mummification process. So it's got a lot of historical ritual uses. Magical uses. Cinnamon, when burned as an incense, raises high spiritual vibrations, aids in healing, draws money, stimulates psychic powers, and produces protective vibrations. It is also used in making sachets and infusions for these purposes. But one thing I like to do, I've actually been making something today. I'm going to show you guys. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it. I'll describe it as best as I can for those that aren't on YouTube. But basically, I've taken 5 long cinnamon sticks. They're probably about 30 centimeters long.
Yeah.
And I have arranged them, 5 of them, into a pentagram. And then using some of this stuff here, which is raffia.
Yep.
Where's raffia come from again? It's like from a plant, isn't it?
It is, but I don't know which.
But anyway, raffia is almost like a straw-like substance, but it's used. You can use it to weave
like
things, make hats. Yeah,
yep.
exactly. So I've crossed them over, and then on the joins where I started off by tying them at the ends of each of the points, and I just like threaded it around, double tied it, and then in the crossovers in the middle, I've also done the same. So I tied it, double knotted it on the front, then fed the 2 bits to the back and double knotted on the back as well, just to hold it in place. And then I'm in the process of, after I've double knotted it on the front, I then thread a little bell, the little metal bell onto the front, and then I double knot it at the back just to hold it really secure. And then, can you hear that?
Hear the little jingle. Yeah.
So my intention is, it's not quite finished yet, but I wanted to show you guys a work in progress.
Yeah.
Just so you can see how I do it. Eventually I'm going to hang this up. Either you can put it on, like hang it on the wall, or you can hang it somewhere where it's dangling, because then when the wind blows, you get the little jingly noise. Because obviously, because of its protective elements, the cinnamon can be used as protection, but also the metal sound, because metal scares away evil spirits.
The bell sound. Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. It makes a nice little jingle sound.
And it smells delicious.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing. When you're using herbs and stuff, like, especially for crafts and things, like, it makes everything smells lovely.
It does. It does.
Everything smells lovely. And that's another one you can use that they're used for as well, is like offerings to particular deities, gods and goddesses. Like, for instance, I know garlic is something that's often associated with Hecate, or as an offering to Hecate.
Well, here's actually a fun fact on, only because you brought up garlic. So without having to, hopefully I can find it really quickly because it's in alphabetical order. Garlic, here it is. So garlic, they say, so it's associated with Hecate. So it's like protection and healing, some of its main properties among others. But also then if you think echinacea, which is something, you know how a lot of people take garlic and echinacea tablets when it's getting into cold and flu season?
Yep.
So echinacea, which is just here, is actually associated with strengthening spells. So echinacea was used by American, I'll say Native Americans. It says American Indians in here, but Native Americans, as an offering to spirits to ensure and strengthen spells. So if you think of it this way, if garlic is used for healing and echinacea is used to amplify, so not only is garlic and echinacea in tablet form used to help amplify your own healing so you don't get sick, magically, same thing.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of similarities if you start to look in their medicinal properties to their magical properties. You can see a bit of a theme as to what they...
Which is why a lot of... Is it... hang on. I always get my natural medicine people mixed up. Is it a naturopath that will combine herbs to create natural remedies? But and it's not just naturopaths, like it's also Chinese doctors, like if you go to a Chinese herbalist
medicine. Chinese medicine, just herbalists, naturopaths.
Is it a homeopath as well?
A homeopath uses homeopathic remedies, so they're a little different than herbs. They are usually from different plants and things like that, but they're using a different kind of way, in a diluted way. It's actually using a poison to, it's not a poison, but in a very small dose to create the same effect. So if you've got a flu, you want to create something that's going to create a flu so that it amps everything up to heal you. That's a kind of a really terrible description of what it is.
So on that note, that's like a perfect segue. Well, the final one I wanted to touch on, if we may, is actually the topic of poisons.
Yes.
Because it's common knowledge, and anyone who starts dabbling in witchcraft or starts reading witchcraft will know that you will eventually come across a time when you start reading about the fact that witches will often use poisons in order to hallucinate and have visions and all that kind of stuff. So one of my favorites, now I think Vicky may be frozen. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I think
there we go. You're back.
I'm going. We're back again.
Okay, good. So
I'm back.
So it's actually a topic that I wanted to touch on, only because obviously if you do want to go down that road and try out things like the poisons and all that kind of stuff, just be careful. Like, that's the first thing I want to say is be careful. And if the book says don't do it, then don't do it. Don't think I'm going to do it for fun and shits and gigs. Like, just follow instructions or do it with a trained practitioner who knows what the hell they're doing. So one of my favorite poisons is actually wolfsbane, otherwise known as aconite, Cupid's car, Dumbledore's delight, leopard's bane, monk's hood, storm hat, Thor's hat, or wolf's hat. Ooh. So I actually love
Dumbledore's delight.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even know that. I'm like, this book was way before Harry Potter. Way before Harry Potter. So I'm like, when I read that, I was like, what? But I don't know why, but I've always been obsessed with the word wolfsbane, aconite, and monk's hood. Like, and I think I learned that from
cool.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've been into like wolf movies and supernatural kind of stuff. So there's always those kind of
Me too.
there. Yeah.
But so wolfbane is actually my pen name. So when I eventually one day write a book, it's going to be part of my pen name. So, but anyway, so wolfsbane, it's added to protection sachets, especially to guard against vampires and werewolves. It's quite fitting since wolfsbane is also used by werewolves to cure themselves.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
So I'm quite a fan of wolfsbane. What's one of the other poisons?
Belladonna.
Oh, yes, nightshade.
Yeah, the deadly nightshade, Atropia belladonna. I think that's its full name. So that can be used. What's some other names for it? Belladonna, devil's herb, naughty man's cherries. I just love that. I think that's brilliant. So it's been used. So this one it is a really dangerous one and can be fatal at different times, but it has been used for consecration. It's a really magical herb, a funeral herb associated. I think it's one of the ingredients in flying ointments.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Ointments. Yeah, for its different uses. There's also, you can burn it as an offering, which again, be doing that with a lot of care. There's a lot of particular deities that it's associated with as well.
But isn't it like highly poisonous? Like you can't come into contact with it?
Yeah, it's a highly poisonous one. This is the big toxic one. I think the leaves, the berries, everything is toxic.
Yeah, literally every part of it is toxic.
Every part of it is toxic. And yeah, whether you burn it, ingest it, whatever, it's all very, very toxic. Okay. So do be very, very careful with that one.
So another one which is also quite poisonous, but you can actually consume this one. And if anyone has watched Moulin Rouge or has been out to a pub, you have probably had this one. So it's called wormwood.
The green berry.
Wormwood, otherwise known as Artemisia absinthium. So it's, in other words, absinthe comes from wormwood. Now, obviously, these days with the absinthe that you buy, it's not the same. No. If you actually get absinthe that has real wormwood in it, like you can't have very much of it because you hallucinate like crazy.
Yeah.
And I actually watched a masterclass during the Gather the Witches series. I watched a masterclass during the event from Christopher Penchak, and he actually did a whole 45-minute thing about wormwood and how to cultivate it and what to use it for and how to do all these things and whatnot. But it said that it's for psychic powers, protection, love, and calling spirits. And it was often burned in incenses designed to aid in developing psychic powers, and it is worn for this purpose. Like it can be worn as well. It protects you against bewitchment, but it also from the bite of sea serpents. And according to ancient tradition, it counteracts the effects of poisoning by hemlock and toadstools.
Ooh.
But I wouldn't try that out. I wouldn't take one and then take the other.
Take the other to go to see how we go.
And they say that if you hang it from the rear view mirror of your car, it can actually protect you from accidents or treacherous roads, is what they've said.
Oh.
So it is highly addictive and dangerous, like as in absinthe itself is a highly addictive and dangerous liquor. It's now outlawed and banned in many countries. But like obviously, as I said, guys, the one that you're going to buy absinthe from a store is not going to be the same.
No.
Like, it's kind of along the lines of like, I like to drink agua bombs. So agua is actually another alcohol which is made from the coca leaf. So obviously the one you buy in the store does not have any coca leaf in it. So coca leaf is obviously the derivative of cocaine, but as a drink, it's it kind of makes you hallucinate and have a bit of a wee good time. Same with absinthe. It's like those kinds of green, like anything that's made from a herb, if you get its purest form, like I haven't tried agua or absinthe in its pure form, like with the wormwood or the coca leaf in it, but like they still do have that element of hallucinogenic kind
there's still something to it. Yeah, there's still something there. It may not just be as strong, but it's still there.
Yes. What's another poison?
Hemlock.
Yes.
Which we mentioned. So that one's it's another poisonous one, and it's used in magic to induce astral projection.
Oh, yes.
And protection in astral spaces.
And we'll be doing an episode on astral projection and astral protection as well in the future.
And it was also used in spells to destroy sexual drives.
Oh.
I wonder if that's just because you're dead. If you do have too much of it.
To dispel them.
Yeah, to destroy sexual drives. And the juice was also rubbed onto magical knives and swords to empower and purify them before use.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
I'm just trying to think if I can think of any other ones that I wanted to bring up. No, I think the rest of them are like, I mean, there's plenty more, guys.
There is a lot. Yeah, that's it. And then there's a lot of people and a lot of books and things that do specialize in the poisons and those types of things. So do have a look at those.
But obviously, let us know in the comments which ones of these you found interesting, fascinating, handy, like whatever it might be. And if you want us to do a deeper dive in any particular herb family, or if you tell us like, hey, I'm wanting to do a spell on X or Y, what herbs do you recommend? I will obviously divert that question to Vicky because she's our resident herbologist. I know a little bit, but I don't know that much because as much as I own a lot of herbs, I haven't used a lot of herbs over the years. It's only more recent years that I've really started to. As I said, I mainly use essential oils more than anything. Yeah. But
one I did want to that I forgot was Datura. Datura. However you say it, I can never say it.
How do you spell it?
Datura.
Datura. Yeah.
Datura. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's one that is extremely poisonous. That one. So you can't eat it. It's also can make your skin irritated if you even touch it. Things like that. But it's often being used for hex breaking. So it's used in hex breaking, sleep, and a lot of protection rites. And the Aztecs considered the plant to be very, very, very sacred. It's used through a lot of things. So to break spells, a lot of those kind of things. So it's a really good hex breaking, spell breaking kind of herb. But be very careful.
I was gonna say, as we said already, guys.
With tongs.
anytime you're touching anything that's considered poisonous, just be careful.
Yeah, go to it. It's not something that I'm an expert in at all. But there is a lot of people out there that are. I know one in particular is Sarah Lawless, I believe her name is. She has like a blog, and she actually creates ointments and things like that as well, using a lot of the poison. So she's very well versed in all of those. So she has some really informative stuff on her site.
Awesome. But yeah, I guess that's it for our introduction to herbs, right?
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to touch on, or you think we're good?
I think we're kind of good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on forever. Look, I could tell you about all different herbs forever. So
yes,
probably best to leave it where it is.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, we may even do a part 2.
We might have to, because I just realized now I'm like, I missed the whole page of my research.
We kind of missed. Yeah, we didn't touch on lots and lots of stuff. So I think maybe we might be doing a part 2 and some of our favorite herbs and things like that as well.
Yes, absolutely. So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Yes. And like I said, please comment, like, share. Yes. Let us know your feedback. And if you have any specific questions, let us know as well. But until next time, I hope you have an amazing day.
Have a great day. Bye.